Thank you for joining me again with Meg's Butler Cooks. We're making an old school lasagna. As you can see, quick and easy. Start with some olive oil in your pan. I use some ground turkey at 85-15 plus some ground beef, and you'll see why. Here we have some onion, garlic, and bell peppers. This is actually a little bit of hamburger meat I had left and ground turkey mixed together. I actually am starting to cook my ground meat first before I even add my onions, bell peppers, and garlic in. I'm going to cook my meat first. Starting your meat first so that your veggies don't get so soft that they disappear. And with the lasagna sauce, it's gonna cook down for a while anyway, so I'll put the veggies in after the meat cooks down just a little bit. As you can see, one of the easy parts start with some Hunt's pasta sauce, as well as some fire roasted tomatoes. These is just some clips of me putting my veggies in with the meat. Here I added some salt, pepper, and some celery seed, and the fire roasted diced tomatoes. This is one of my secrets to get that rich flavor, fire roasted diced tomatoes in your sauce. And if you notice, I hadn't drained this sauce yet because one of the things about the turkey meat is a lot of it is not actual oil, but just like juice. So I'm going to skim it instead of actually draining all of the flavor off the meat. Okay, just to show you, I actually drained my meat off, and I only left just a little tad bit in the bottom of it, and that is just for flavor. All of the oil and fat is here. It's drained off and in here. So what I'm doing now is kind of adjusting my seasoning, because once you pour that off, you got to readjust your seasoning. So I'm going to readjust my seasoning, add my tomato sauce, and I'll be back. I did one tomato and one meat. Easy way to spruce up your sauce is using canned sauce. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of letting your sauce cook for hours on end. I've gotten both of my sauces poured in. Now this is going to simmer for about 30 minutes to almost an hour. I'm just going to put the lid on it, cut it down low, and just let it go. Okay, I've got everything in my sauce pot. The sauces are in, seasonings in. I tasted it, tastes good to me. So what I'm going to do is put the lid on here. This sauce is going to simmer for about 30 minutes to an hour before I start assembling my lasagna. One thing I wanted to note though, I sometimes when I am grounding my ground meat and veggies, I add a little white wine before I add my red sauce to the pot. I didn't have white wine today, so I just omitted that part. But when you want to kick up a little extra flavor, put you a little bit of white wine in there, and I'm telling you, it will take your spaghetti or lasagna sauce to a whole nother level. Some of you are going to think I'm crazy, but one of the keys to my sauce, also when I don't have the red wine, is distilled white vinegar. I just put a splash of this, maybe a tablespoon. Because this is a lot of sauce, I may put 2 tablespoons in it, because I'm going to reserve some of this for spaghetti at another date. But this right here, when I tell you just put you a splash in there, it helps. And a little touch of maybe a teaspoon of sugar, and that's all you need. This is dried rosemary that I dried myself. And now here is the ricotta. Y'all, my husband corrected me. He said it was ricotta cheese, but it was too late. I already said ricotta about 100 times in the video. So enjoy. I am convinced that a lot of people don't like lasagna because of the ricotta that is in it. Ricotta needs to be seasoned. It is a very bland cheese. So in this bowl, I have added ricotta. I have Parmesan cheese, spinach. I have added garlic powder, onion powder, pepper. I'm going to put a little bit of salt in here. I put a little bit of celery seed. Some of the same flavorings that I put in my sauce is going into my ricotta mixture. I'm going to add 1 egg. I'm going to whisk it, see if it has the right amount of cheese, and that's how I get the ricotta just as flavorful going into your lasagna. That is key. I added some half and half to my ricotta mixture as well, and I ended up adding 2 eggs instead of 1. Because I added 1 egg, it's not as smooth as I like it, so I'm going to add 1 more egg to my ricotta mixture. I'm not sure where I get ricotta from. Ricotta, please excuse me. I love saying ricotta. Apparently I've gotten it wrong. And I also used oven ready noodles, so I didn't have to boil anything. This is one of the secrets to my lasagna. I always use Vermont by Cabot extra sharp cheese. A lot of people use mozzarella. I really don't. I may use a little bit of mozzarella, but this is what I layer my lasagna with. So I start with sauce in the bottom of my pan as usual, and then I start my layering with the noodles, and I add my mixture. This shaped Parmesan inside of my ricotta. I don't have to use a whole lot of the Cabot in between my layers, but it will definitely top. It will be topped heavily on the top of the lasagna. As you can see, I'm just spreading my ricotta mixture on top of my noodles, as well as my Cabot cheese and another layer of meat sauce. And there you go. Okay, this is my lasagna. Yes, I let it sit in the oven just a tad bit too long. I can admit that. Things are not always perfect, as you can see. But luckily for me, my family loves a little burnt cheese on top. So you can see now, key to lasagna, you have to let this rest. Do not touch it for at least 15 minutes. Don't touch it. The reason you let your lasagna sit is so that it can set. When you cut it out, it should look like this. You shouldn't have like stuff running everywhere. Everything is kind of pulled together, and so it's ready. Yes, my top is a little extra brown. That's because I left it in the oven a little longer than what I would typically leave it. But as you can see, once you scoop out your cut, this is a cut I've already taken out. This is how it should look.